were strangers to the game we love. We're strangers no more. It's more than a game. Hey, it's our religion now, and it's in our blood, it's in our veins, it's everywhere. Ilawa, 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 ilawa. Michigawuna karagaling arame. Oh, apana wata taparika. Apana wata nagita parika, yeah. Apana wata nagita parika, oh. For years they've taken our very own, but we have them back now. They back where they belong, yeah. When we were down and we needed inspiration, we looked at our past and we saw our champions. Yuruari Pamamata Apano Buddha Taparika. Apano Buddha Taparika. Apano Buddha Taparika.
Hoo-ah, 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 we. We are the Buffaloes. B-U-F-F-A-L-O-E-S. Buffaloes! You go home and get your scannies, I'll go home and get my panties, and away we'll go. Oh, shuffle up the buffalo, shuffle up the buffaloes. Oh, buffaloes never die, never die, never die. Oh, buffaloes never die, they simply fade away. How do you do, all your buffaloes? How do you do? How do you do? How do you do, all your buffaloes? How do you do? How do you do? It's the same old street refrain that the
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to AFL NT's coverage of the 2022-23 TIO NTFL season. We are live here from TIO Stadium here in Darwin for round 12 action of the Men's Premier League competition between the Tiwi Bombers, and they are taking on the Darwin Buffaloes. My name is George Scoufezis, joined here in commentary by Stuart Davis in what looks to be a gripping round of action. And of course, this round is headlined by No More Round, and it is an Aboriginal initiative which addresses prevention of domestic and family violence through a whole of community approach. And this afternoon's game will be a fair representation of the action that is to be provided for the following. Stuart, how are you going to find this afternoon's game?
Yeah, thanks, George. Really looking forward to this. Tiwi, as everyone knows, have had their struggles over the last few years, but I think over the last 5 or 6 weeks they've started to show some form. Of course, they came away with a draw against Pint last week, which means that they're undefeated against Pint for the season, which is a pretty good stat for them. And Darwin have had a little bit up and down, but they're pressing for the 5, so they'll be looking to go out of the year, the 1922 year, with a win going into the Christmas break.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, so but I think you were saying off air that the Buffaloes look like they've got a pretty strong side in today. A good local representation, and Tiwi, a couple of outs, notably Shannon and Benjamin Rioli. So it'll be interesting, but there's some good ends. I see that Jonathan Lanyon playing again for Tiwi this week, coming in from Banks. He's been a stalwart of Banks for a few years, and so he adds a bit of strength through the midfield, and so it'll be interesting to see how they go as we're underway. Big D'Souza in the ruck for Tiwi, gets the tap down. Tipalura couldn't get his hands to it, but D'Souza followed up well, got a kick to the ball out towards half forward, close to the boundary line. Clever work in defence, and now Ogden gets the hand pass back there to Aaron Stokes, but the turnover kick is chopped off here by Braden Rioli. He hand passes off to Tipalura, who kicks long inside forward 50 for Tiwi. Off hands, the ball spills to the front. Coming in as Timmy Eldridge, got the hand pass across, also got a bit of a tap across the head, I think, and he'll take the free kick. He's called to play on and then gets tackled with the ball and gives away the free kick. Advantage being taken by Dion Munkara, runs into the open goal unmanned, and all the Buffaloes can do is stand around and argue about it, but the first goal is on the board to Tiwi, George.
Yeah, a bit of confusion in around there. Definitely a free kick to Timmy Eldridge, and then I think cheekily tried to lure in a 50-metre penalty. Referee playing play on and dispossessed, and open goal on the first of the board for Dion Munkara and the Bombers. So
a great start for Tiwi. Buffaloes haven't had it forward of centre in the opening minute or so of the game, and Tiwi won the ruck contest and the clearance, and it all went from there. But that'll be the start that Brenton Toy would certainly have been looking for to get him on the front foot. Chris Atkinson doing the ruck work now for Buffs, gets the tap backwards, and Jared Stokes comes in. The ball just eluded him. Coming off half back was Bradley Stokes. His kick was smothered, but he's in there again, gets a hand pass forward to Jared Stokes, just mishandles the ball, but it falls back in his lap. He gets the hand pass out now, and Buffalo's looking to come grandstand side, but the short kick was chopped off now. Ogden involved, gets the hand pass backwards, but just spilled out of the grasp of Bradley Stokes and over the boundary line. Lionel Ogden, an interesting inclusion, George. His first game, I think, for Buffaloes, coming a long-term stalwart of Southern Districts, but changing over mid-season, and he's in for them, so we'll add strength to their local content as we talked about. But good intercept mark taken there by Harley McCarthy, and Tiwi going forward again down towards half forward, but in defence, Stokes, his kick was half smothered. Eldridge involved again, does well to get round his opponent, takes off with a bounce. Now a chip pass into Thomas Clark. He feigns the hand pass one way, doesn't give it, and then goes inside forward 50, looking down there for Pendlebury, but the ball's knocked away, and in fact it was Whelan down there, but it's a free kick to Joey Collinson for Buffaloes, and he'll be kicking from about 45 metres out. So we had pretty heavy downpour of rain a couple of hours ago, but skies have cleared now, and we know this surface recovers really well, so conditions are pretty much perfect out there. Be pretty humid, no doubt, but Collinson inside 50 now, kicks on the way. It's just drifting across the face of goal and off hands, forced through for a minor score. So Buffalo's first score of the game is a rush behind, and it'll be Nick Hooker to bring the ball back in for Tiwi. He's just jogs out of the square now, kicks short, and Dion Munkara finds some space at half back. He goes short to Cruz. Cruz hand passes back to Munkara running, and again short, and Lanyon on the end of this one. He's called to play on now as he steps forward and has some space, delivers nicely along the grandstand side, and finds Gary Puruntatameri down here. Looking to go short again to Munkara. It was touched off the boot, and then the tackle was high. They've taken the advantage. Braden Rioli slips over as he tried to kick, collected a boot in the head accidentally, I think, from Mitch Robinson down there. He's just going to check that he's all right. But in the meantime, it's a wayward kick out of defence that just went straight over the boundary line on the full, and Harley Bennell, no, he's giving it back inside here now, and Tiwi a chance to go inside forward 50 through Richie Cunningham, but that kick's not the best directed, and tidied up in defence by Hassan Ahmat Watkins. That's a dangerous ball back inside the corridor, and gives Tiwi the opportunity to pounce. Munkara again on the end of it, hooks on the left foot, but can't bring that one back, and through for a behind for Tiwi. 5 minutes into the first quarter, and Buffs take it to the outer side of the ground, but finds its way over the boundary line. Be a boundary throw in on the outer side. D'Souza and Sterling doing the ruck work. Ball slips over the back. Bennell gets a quick kick on the left through. Aaron Stokes comes in, traps it nicely, and then gets the hand pass out under pressure. Bradley Stokes does well to get it back to Aaron Stokes, and now chip out wide, and Kevin Moroney in some space. Just wheels and goes out here, and Nathaniel Cooper has some room on the grandstand side of the ground, chips along the wing to Timmy Eldridge. Eldridge, an underground kick there, not his best effort, and that's tidied up in defence, and Tiwi the chance through Bennell. Back to Lanyon through the hands, and he chips across to David Cruz at half back. So Mully Cruz, just looking around, decides to chip short to Bennell once again, and Tiwi just trying to maintain possession around the grandstand side here. That one just a little bit too long for Damien Dunn, and over his head, bounces out of bounds for a boundary throw in right in front of the grandstand on centre wing at TIO Stadium. So Sterling works his way to the front, gets his hands to the ball. Brodos in there for Darwin. Hand pass missed the target, but he followed up with a kick off the ground. Tupalura just couldn't quite trap the ball as Jock got the hand pass up here to Holt Fitz. Holt Fitz gave it to Collinson. He was under plenty of pressure, and now Lanyon caught with the ball. Play on's the call as it spills out. Running in hard there was Cooper, got a toe poke to it for Buffs. Hand pass comes to Lanyon, who's wrapped up in the tackle. Play on's the call as it comes out to Stanley Tipalura again, but there's a whistle blown. It's going to be a Darwin free kick, and just outside forward 50 here, it's Mitch Robinson putting his hand up. Pretty unmistakable today, George, with the new hairstyle. As Robinson kicks inside 50, looking for Jaden Kickett down there. Bennell does well to keep it in play, gets a hand pass across. Stanley Tipalura caught with the ball and spills out, but umpire says that Kickett got in his back, and it'll be a Tiwi free kick at half back. So Stanley Tipalura, the captain today, chips along the grandstand side to a one-on-one down here, just a hand over the shoulder there, I think. That's the way the umpire's seen it. And Gary Puruntatameri will take that free kick, chips inboard, and just getting a bit of space. Desmond Montgomery kicks inside 50, but good work by Sterling to come in and intercept, got a hand to it, and then recovered, picked up the ball, kicks long down to half forward. Over the top was Brendan Cantilla with a high leap, but couldn't hold the mark. Now Collinson pounces on it, kicks short, inside forward 50. He's got a couple of choices down there, and in the end it's Jaden Kickett that takes the easy uncontested chest mark about 15 metres out from goal, directly in front. So yeah, just the turnover there worked for Buffaloes, and Jaden Kickett kicks from directly in front, no problem whatsoever, and Buffaloes have got their first goal on the board and ties the scores up at 7 points apiece.
Yeah, good play there for Buffs just to manoeuvre forward and get a good shot on goal there, but just a handy word out. I guess 9 minutes gone, and certainly looked pre-game that the Tiwi Bombers were a little bit undermanned going into this match, but they've certainly come to play this afternoon, and I think that their pace on the outside wings is going to be a very pivotal role for the remainder. Just hope they can keep it up for the remaining 3.5 quarters.
Yeah, that's right, George, and they've been pretty impressive with their control of the ball, just going short, trying to maintain possession. I know Brenton Toy's big on that as in his coaching. Just if you've got the ball, the opposition can't do much about it. So from the restart, there's going to be a Tiwi free kick here against Robinson, and it's going to Hooker, Nick Hooker. Beautiful left foot kick of the ball normally, and that one's no exception. Inside forward 50, and finds Mikey Coombs out on the lead, and he takes the mark. So Coombs, who probably hasn't played any footy for a couple of years now, has been obviously was an ex-Buffaloes player, and St Mary's before that, was signed by Palmerston at one stage, but has found a home at Tiwi now, and he has a chance with a shot at goal from inside 50. Just a bit of a stutter in the run-up, and I think he's just pulled that one to the left, so behind only, but enough to nudge Tiwi to the lead halfway through this first quarter at TIO Stadium. So Robinson receives the short one from the kick in, and he goes short again to the outer side, and Matthew Cassidy takes the mark in the back pocket for Darwin. They're just trying to work the ball around the boundary line, but comes unstuck here. But now a chance coming in there was Bean for Buffaloes, Tyrone Bean, but Vrodos eventually carries the ball over the boundary line under some pressure, and it'll be a boundary throw in once again. So D'Souza in front gets it straight down to Dunn, whose quick kick went inboard, picked up down there by Apatumini, but chopped off by Robinson. Gets a hand pass out to Jock. Jock comes around the boundary line, working his way to the front. Down there was Liam Whelan, spilt the mark, and now follows up with a tackle. Play on's the call as the ball spills out, and running off half back was Harley McCarthy for Tiwi. Got a hand pass inboard under pressure, but Jock comes in, chops it off. That's a beautiful pass inside forward 50 to Eldridge. Eldridge wastes no time, goes long, looking for Jared Stokes down here, works his opponent under the ball, but then the ball just slipped through his hands, unfortunately for Buffaloes, and through for a behind. So Harley McCarthy with the kick-in duties for Tiwi goes short and finds Madden. Madden goes back to McCarthy in the goal square, and they're going to work the ball to the other side of the ground where Lanyon has run and made some space, but hasn't got much to go to ahead of him on that outer side now, and just sees what's available back across the face of goal. Eventually gets a lead in short, and that's a good pass, and finds Burnell there. Burnell looks to kick to the advantage of the running player on the outer side, but chopping across in defence was Bradley Stokes, and that's a good pass to Eldridge, who looks like he's moved forward, or at least a wingman moving forward as the hand pass comes forward. Collinson hand passes again, but boundary umpire says that one was over the boundary line. So it'll be a boundary throw in between wing and half forward on the outer side of the ground, and a chance for Buffaloes again. Just got it inside their forward half. The ball slips over the back. Brodos traps it beautifully, then gets a hand pass out. Sterling sweeps the hand pass across to half forward. Ogden was running in, but the ball slipped out of his hands. Paddled it back to Jock, who hand passed back to Ogden. He's under plenty of pressure now, and the ball caught in underneath, and umpire will come in and ball up just on the 50-metre line in the Darwin Buffaloes forward area. Sterling doing the ruck work up high early, got his hand to the ball, but now Tiwi with a chance to clear, but they've got no one out here, and Tommy Clark chops that one off easy enough for Darwin. He's about 60 metres out from goal, and looking to switch to the fat side here as under pressure. Pendlebury got his hands to the ball now. Hand passes off Jared Stokes with a snap at goal. Looks pretty good. It is good, and that's a terrific finish. Out of nothing really, but a good contest from Pendlebury down there, and good hands to get it to Stokes. And we know what Jared Stokes can do around the goals, George.
Yeah, very opportunistic, and has been for many years the Darwin Buffaloes captain. And looking at this game earlier today, I thought that if the Buffs were going to get up, that Jared Stokes would need to play a pivotal role, and I guess he does as much on the ball as well as off the ball. Stewie, very charismatic leader for his side. Yeah,
certainly. He's looks like he's spending a bit of time forward early in the game. I know he missed a game with injury with a bit of a hamstring not long ago, and so he just perhaps trying to nurse himself through a bit in the early stages of this game. As Sterling up high, beautiful tap down, and Thomas Clark with the clearance for Buffs, kicks wide close to the boundary line. Just running out of defence there was Paddy Heenan, and under pressure hand passed it straight across the boundary line. Perhaps a bit fortunate not to be penalised there. But it's a boundary throw in, and Buffs have got it in their forward half once again. Sterling comes in, thumps it forward, and just standing all by himself down here was Whelan for Buffs, but his kick wasn't his best effort, and Tiwi thump it out, but Bradley Stokes read it well, and just forward of centre takes the intercept mark, kicks long inside forward 50, but plenty of Tiwi defenders down there get across, and thumped over the boundary line in the end by Will Madden for Tiwi. He copped a bit of a knock in the contest, and he just hobbles back to the goal square now, defensive goal square. So a boundary throw in once again in Darwin's forward half. Sterling works his opponent under the ball. Bradley Stokes waiting at the back of the pack, picks up on the left, wobbles it forward, but David Cruz sitting in the goal square takes an uncontested mark, and then just jogs off to the outer side of the ground, has a bounce, kicks back inboard, and finds Harley McCarthy at half back. He's not sure which way to go, decides to go short in the end, and finds Puruntuta Mary, who swings the ball to the outer side of the ground where Lanyon's in some space. And again a slow build up from Tiwi as they work the ball, maintaining possession, but Coombs on the end of it got a quick kick forward, and the mark's been taken inside forward 50, so it's worked for them in the end. The just slow movement of the ball, hitting targets around the outer side of the ground until eventually the kick came forward, and I think it's John Tipalura who's got on the end of it, and will have the set shot for goal. So he'll be kicking from about 45 metres out on a slight angle. Kick on the way, goal umpire making a bit of ground to his left, and that's where the ball stayed, just out to the right hand side of the goal post out there. Darwin bring it in quickly. Robinson round the outer side of the ground, finds Cooper. Oh, that's just gave that one a bit too much air, and gave Lanyon for Tiwi the opportunity to come in and cut it off. He got caught with the ball underneath him in the end, and it'll be a ball up on the outer side of the ground. So ticking over 18 minutes in this first quarter. Darwin Buffaloes with a 5-point lead after Tiwi were the first on the board, and now Tiwi looking to run it through, but intercepted there by Atkinson, a chip kick forward, and Cantilla did well to get a hand to the ball. Then short pass to Coombs. Coombs takes a step, goes long straight down the middle of the ground, but this one's chopped off in defence by Jonas Nicky, and he chips the ball out wide here to Tyrone Bean. Bean inboard to Robinson, who plays on straight away, kicks long down to Jared Stokes, who's got space out here between wing and half forward, and takes the mark. He's calling players to run at him, kicks inboard in the end through the hands of Pendlebury, and Tiwi bring it away again, and Lanyon straight up the centre corridor receives now, looking to switch grandstand side again, but Coombs out here with a couple of opponents will do well to win that contest, and the numbers win out in the end as the hand pass comes to Robinson, who got it forward to Jared Stokes. Jared Stokes chips it inside forward 50. That was a beautifully weighted kick in between two Tiwi defenders, and the mark's been paid. As a bit of attention not appreciated down there, but it's Joey Collinson, I think, who was on the end of it, and he'll take the kick from about 25 metres out on a 45-degree angle here. He is a left footer, so the angle should suit him pretty well, and there wasn't too much in that, I don't think, George.
No, slight shove in the back, but sometimes you're the lucky one. The referee gives it, and Collinson here positioned to create some breathing room.
Kicks on its way. It's a good kick, good finish by Joey Collinson, no problem whatsoever, and after a slow start, it's Darwin Buffaloes who've kicked the last 3 goals of the match to stretch their lead out to 11 points as we just tick into time on in the first quarter. But two, we've had some moments and scored that early goal, but just haven't been able to take their opportunities when they've gone forward since then.
Nah, certainly, and that's one of those games. I remember a couple of weeks ago covering a Bombers and Wanderers game where Tiwi did their best to stay in the game as long as possible, and when they could and when they did, they were picking off their chances when they come. That's the important thing. When you get the opportunity to go forward in the forward 50, you need to convert them.
So back in the centre of the ground, D'Souza gets his hand to the ball, and Bennell runs back into traffic there, and he's going to be pinged for holding the ball. Had the opportunity to give off, but decided not to, and Jock will take the free kick. He's got a player in some space, and that's Brodos, who's spread well to the outer side of the ground. He chips the ball inside forward 50. It spills over the back. Holt Fitz runs onto it, ducks back inside now, looking for something outside 50. Kicks back to his captain, Jared Stokes. Stokes looking for kick it inside forward 50, but just a bit too long for him, and bounces inside the boundary line and over for a boundary throw in. So Liam Holtfitz involved there. First time we've called him today, really, but he doesn't need too many touches to have a huge influence on games. As it's Whelan doing the ruck work there, elected to take the ball out of the ruck and then got tackled, couldn't get a hand to the attempted hand pass, and he's penalised, and Tiwi just looking to chip the ball out of defence again. Heenan goes straight down the middle of the ground, and that's a good pass, and finds Madden. Madden gives to the running Bennell, who just ran out of space a bit and then had to pull up and chip short to Stanley Tipalura. Stanley Tipalura right in the centre of the ground now, looking to move the ball along. He goes inside forward 50. Darwin have got numbers back there, but a good contested mark taken, and I think that might be Gary Puruntarameri down there. Just reached over the top, got his hands to the ball, and completed the mark on the second attempt. So it is Gary Puruntarameri, and he'll go back for a set shot, and one that Tiwi probably deserve to get late in this first quarter. They've certainly been in the contest, and just the one goal on the board so far is Puruntarameri kicks, and again just left that out to the right and banged it into the right hand goalpost. So another opportunity missed for Tiwi as Buffaloes go short, and Aaron Stokes Goes back outside to Bradley Stokes, and they just work it around the outer side of the ground now. As Jock here goes looking for Vrodos. He's got a number of opponents there, but the bounce favours him. Gets a hand pass to Jared Stokes running past. Jared Stokes on the left, kicks inside forward 50, just knocked away in the marking contest there, and now the ball on the ground. Hand pass out, comes to Cantilla. Cantilla on the left goes back across the face of goal, but Cruz had plenty of space out there and takes the mark on the chest just forward of the defensive goal scorer. He's looking to come grandstand side now. Again they go short, and again the use of the ball is good, and Madden takes the mark here. Still inside defensive 50, but he's going to go short again, and Cantilla takes the mark. Brendan Cantilla, he plays on now and puts himself under pressure, but the siren goes to end the first quarter, one where, as we said, Tiwi kicked the first goal, but Darwin have answered with the following 3 goals to give themselves a 10-point advantage, George.
Yeah, that's it. Quarter time at TIO Stadium. Round 12, no more round. It's the Buffaloes who lead it 3 goals to 20 to 1 goal for 10. We'll have a short break and be rejoined with you for the second quarter.
This afternoon here at TIO Stadium. To the left of your radio they go.
Wow, what a goal to start the game.
Beautiful. Goes for home and has nailed an absolute rip sorter. From the pocket, and he's kicked an absolute ripper.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round 12 action of the 2002-23 TIO NTFL season. It's men's Premier League clash between the Tiwi Bombers, who currently trail the Darwin Buffaloes 1 goal for 10 to 3 goals 2-20. And as we mentioned off air, Stuart, it's a game so far that both coaches of respective sides won't be too displeased with the performance.
No, that's right. Both teams certainly in the contest. Buffaloes just with the early upper hand at the end of the first quarter, but I think that Cameron Stokes, their coach, would be thinking that there's some improvement in them, and Brenton Toy would be reasonably happy with the endeavour that his players have shown from the Tiwi Bombers, and they could have been closer if they'd taken a couple more opportunities, and that's probably the story for both sides. But we're underway as Big D'Souza for Tiwi gets his hand to the ball, but Jared Stokes in there, hand passes over the top. Pendlebury dragged down in the tackle, and now on the counter-attack it's Tiwi through Munkara, who goes long inside forward 50, but parking himself in front down there was Jonas Nicky, and there's going to be a Tiwi free kick for holding here, and an opportunity early in this second quarter for them to get themselves on the board. And with the shot at goal, it's going to be John Tipalura again, who had a set shot in the first quarter and wasn't able to convert, so he'd be looking to do better with this effort. So he'll be kicking from about 35 out, pretty much directly in front. There's not a lot of breeze to contend with, so a chance for Tiwi early in the second quarter. So Tipalura's kick, that's off the side of the boot and has missed everything out of bounds on the full. So again, just leaning back on that and just not focusing in the set shot kick as the kick comes out of defence from Tyrone Bean. He found Jared Stokes, who chips inboard to Pendlebury, and Darwin have possession of the ball at half back. They go straight up the corridor looking for Sterling here, who gave a good lead and took the ball in the hands out in front. He goes short to Robinson. Robinson plays on with the hand pass. That wasn't the best option. There were Tiwi players everywhere there that could chop it off, and now they're looking to work it back through the hands again as they come out grandstand side, and D'Souza takes the mark out here. He plays on quickly down the boundary line side, but unfortunately for Tiwi, just floated over the boundary line and out of bounds on the full, and it's Buffaloes out working the ball out of defence, and Pendlebury takes the mark. He's going to go backwards so that they can switch to the outer side of the ground. Moroney out there instead goes straight up the corridor, finds Aaron Stokes. Aaron Stokes has a player out wide. That's Nicky. Nicky takes the mark off one step, chips the ball out wide where Eldridge has found some space, so he spills the mark out there but has time to recover and then run round his opponent and go long inside forward 50. A bit of a push out there. Play on's the call as the ball spills to the ground, and Collinson swings around on the left foot, tries to drill it inside the centre corridor, but it's chopped off in defence by Heenan, and Heenan comes out wide here to Braden Rioli, who has a running player on the wing, and Tiwi moving the ball quickly. Burnell here gets his hands to the ball, but Bradley Stokes was right on his tail, and the best he could do was get a hand to it and force it over the boundary line for a boundary throw in. So between wing and half forward at the airport end of the ground, which is the end that Tiwi are kicking to in this second quarter, and D'Souza and Sterling reaching over the top. Cunningham just falls forward with the ball there. Quick hand pass out to Tipamanta Mary, and he was disposed of the ball, held in the tackle too long, and Desmond Tipamanta Mary kicks short to the running Braden Rioli. He's got some space here outside 50, kicks inside 50. That's a good pass and finds Harley Bennell right in the right forward pocket. So it's a pretty difficult shot at goal from there, just trying to make sure that the player is right on the mark. He's having a look at options, decides to go short, and the pass is good, finds Dion Munkara in between a couple of Buffalo defenders, and was a beautiful pass and just opens up the angle a bit, and Munkara, the left footer, a renowned goal kicker. He is Tiwi's only goal kicker for the day so far, and he'll go back and take the set shot. Terrific camera angle here, right behind Mankara as he comes in for his shot on goal. I think he's dragged it right as well, so just wasting opportunities here, Tiwi, when they really need to put some scoreboard pressure on Darwin. Robinson in the back pocket goes short to Pendlebury, straight up the corridor. He's looking to switch to the outer side of the ground, finds Moroney out there. Moroney plays on quickly, got a player in some space as Nicky, and Jonas Nicky goes short again to the running Jock. Just inboard, he switches the hand pass out to Bean. Bean goes wide, and Buffaloes have worked the ball pretty well down here, and in the end it's Holt Fitz who chips back inboard, but that kick misses the target. Thomas Clark comes in, gets a hand to it, taps it to the advantage of Jock, but again the kick's smothered and the ball's caught in underneath the pack, spills out now. Lanyon sweeps the hand pass out here, and Cruz gets it back to Lanyon. Lanyon around the outer side of the ground. Oh, that was a dangerous sort of effort in the end, and it's a Tiwi free kick on the outer side of the ground. No damage done, fortunately, but running with the flight of the ball gave away the free kick, and now Tiwi around the wing, and play on's the call as it's just snatched over the top. The hand pass comes inboard. Pendlebury gives the handball, then receives back from Cooper and drills the ball into Robinson about 50 metres out from goal. He's trying to claim that the player on the mark moved, and in the end he caused enough distraction to be able to pass off, and he finds Thomas Jock closer to goal, and he'll be kicking a set shot from about 35 out. So yeah, just Mitch Robinson trying some of the tricks that we've seen him come up with.
Very clever. I think he lured the extra defender out who was meant to be on Jock, and just kind of pinpointed a pass through the traffic there, and a bit of a longer run up, but this would kind of be a little bit of a blow for the Bombers, who have had the early ascendancy in this second quarter. As Jock comes in, he can't quite direct it through either.
Well, just both sides having problems in front of goal at the moment. So behind to Darwin. It's one behind each in this quarter, and Hooker comes out, kicks long out of defence. Moroney double fists it back inboard. Timmy Eldridge gets onto the end of it, but then gets dispossessed of it. In fact, he's been pinged for incorrect disposal here, so the ball's going to come back, and it'll be a Tiwi free kick down here, and that'll be taken by Apatumi. Apatumi goes short to Lanyon, who's been pretty busy early in the game for Tiwi, running hard, and he kicks the ball along the boundary line here. Bennell gets worked to the front, and Mankara comes in, gets bundled over. Bennell again just toe pokes it forward, and again inside forward 50 is running onto it down there, and tackled with the ball was John Tipalura as the ball spilled out, but in fact the umpire said he didn't have possession of the ball, and John Tipalura will take the free kick inside forward 50, but it's positioned at the moment outside the boundary line, so pretty difficult opportunity here. Hasn't got much movement in front of him. So Tipalura with the set shot, the ball swinging back, but swinging back too early and too far, and just through for a behind once again for Tiwi. Bradley Stokes to bring the ball back in for Darwin. He goes short. Oh, he's miskicked that one, but Thomas Clark was good enough to get onto it, got the hand pass across to Robinson, who thumps it down the middle of the ground, but Lanyon's read that best, and he takes the intercept mark. He's got a player out wide here in Damien Dunn. Dunn takes the mark, plays on straight away, kicks long inside 50. Robinson flies high, got his hands to the ball, couldn't hold it. Now Darwin moving it through the hands again. Brodos to Robinson, and Robinson, short pass out here, finds Ogden low to the ground. Takes a nice mark. He's looking to go back inboard inside the centre corridor and inside the centre square, where Jock had plenty of space. Now he switches to the outer side of the ground, and Moroney chips in short to Jared Stokes, picks it up on the half volley and wheels around on the right foot. That's a beautiful pass, beautiful long pass inside forward 50, and found Jaden Kickett about 45 metres out from goal on the outer side of the ground. And comes in now, looks like he's going to kick long to the top of the goal square, where there's a couple of flyers. Pendlebury over the top, eventually got his hands to the ball but couldn't hold on to it. Collinson picks it up, he gets wrapped up in the tackle, and now the ball spills out, and a chance for, that's an interesting defensive move from about 15 metres out. He's kicked the ball the opposite direction, William Madden, and he's got away with it with a rush behind from a long way out from goal.
An unorthodox rush behind, he'll tell his teammates.
Yeah, I suppose he was under pressure, but he was a fair way out from goal as Hooker brings it round the outer side, but Cooper gets on the end of it for Darwin. Hand passes back inboard to Jared Stokes, back to Moroney, who kicks in short, and Mark couldn't be taken, and just trying to work it out of defence, but the ball was spilled out in the tackle, and it's going to be the Buffalo's free kick, and it's Cooper on the outer side. There's comes back to Cooper, who goes backwards, gets it back again, and hooks the ball over his shoulder, but this time it's chopped off by Lanyon for Tiwi. He's got players running from behind him on the outer side of the ground, and Tiwi have worked themselves into some space on the grandstand side as they go long down here looking for Michael Dunn. Takes it off hands in the contest and then got tackled high, and the ball will come back to him. So Michael Dunn's an interesting one, played a couple of hundred games across half back, and in recent weeks they've been using him forward, and it's probably the first time we've called him today, so he hasn't really been involved in the game much, and his kick there just missed the target. And now some sloppy work across half back, but eventually Darwin work it out and work the ball to the outer side of the ground where Tyrone Beans is in some space. He chips the ball back inside looking for Jared Stokes, but that kick's too long. Mark almost taken out there by Hooker, but it's Tiwi who run the ball back in, and it's marked here by Dunn. Hand passes to Lanyon, and now just a kick in hope really from D'Souza high, but Bennell comes in, takes a terrific mark over the top of Nicky down there. He wastes no time going inside forward 50, and was very close to the boundary line. Tipalura got underneath it, but the Darwin defence did enough to distract him, and the ball spilt over the boundary line for a boundary throw in, but it is deep in Tiwi's forward 50, and an opportunity for them. Good ruck work there by Sterling to get it down to Ahmat Watkins, and his kick is chopped off here by Rioli on the left foot, goes long towards goal, looks pretty good. It is good, it's straight through, so an opportunist goal there for Braden Rioli as Darwin Buffaloes turned it over across half back, and that's the one that Tiwi have been looking for some time, and after 12.5 minutes that is in fact the first goal of this quarter.
Yeah, and what looks to be a very tightly contested game, goals like that can certainly swing the metronome of momentum, that's for sure, and certainly the supporters and his bench area enjoyed that one as well. Great goal from Rioli. It
was a terrific finish. He was just inside the 50-metre line when he picked it up and swung onto the left foot, and they've had plenty of set shots that they've missed and got that one on the run. So right back in the game now, just a 4-point margin as the game restarts in the middle of the ground. Toe poke forward there by Purantatameri, and following up was Mungatopi for Tiwi. Plenty of pressure around players getting their hands on the ball, and that one gets wrapped in. A good tackle by Timmy Eldridge, and a ball up just at the edge of the centre square towards the outer side of the ground. So from the ruck contest, clever work by Bradley Stokes. Hand passes over the top, puts Thomas Clark under a bit of pressure though. He got caught with the ball. Play on's the call as it spills out now, and it's pretty frantic in there underneath. Lionel Ogden lays a tackle, and players pile in on top, and eventually the umpire has to call for a ball up right in the centre of the ground once again. But plenty of players around this ball up. So Sterling goes high over the top. Puruntarameri, a quick kick forward, but it's chopped off and hacked forward, and Buffaloes get it down towards half forward. Holt Fitz gets on the end of that, but he's tackled high and will go back and take the free kick. He's looking to play on quickly. I think there's going to be a 50-metre penalty paid here, and it will be, and that'll bring Holt Fitz right down to the top of the goal square, and he should have no problem in getting the answering goal for Darwin after Tiwi scored that first goal of the quarter just moments ago. So Holt Fitz kicking with the player on the mark about 12 metres out from goal. He's directly in front and looking for his first for the day. No problem for Fitzy. Liam Holt Fitz puts it straight through the middle, and an answering goal there to Darwin sees them stretch that margin out to 10 points again, George.
Yeah, I think it's great, obviously, yeah, crucial reply back, and just got a feeling it's going to be one of those games where I think Cam Stokes and his side will need to take their chances when they present themselves, because I do see Tiwi, with their blistering pace they have, they can threaten to break a game open, and of course they've been a little bit inaccurate, but if even half of their behinds were goals at the moment, it'd be a much different story, especially on the scoreboard.
Yeah, but that's exactly right, George. But not too much damage done so far. Just the 2 goals to 4, and so right in the contest. And we've got D'Souza and Atkinson doing battle in ruck again as we're underway. And D'Souza gets it down. Robinson got his hands to it and then was tackled high. Play on through the advantage, but a strong tackle on Pendlebury, and that was terrific defensive work and awareness to lay the tackle, stay involved in the game. But then Mungatopi's hand passed off to Hooker, who was under plenty of pressure, and Cooper chops it off, gets the hand pass to Jared Stokes, who burns him off through the centre of the ground, has a bounce, kicks inside forward 50. That's a beautifully positioned kick out to the advantage of Liam Whelan, and just had a couple of metres on his opponent, and the kick from Jared Stokes was in the perfect position for him just to run onto it and take the
50.
mark. And here's another 50-metre penalty being paid here, and this is the undisciplined stuff that Tiwi just can't afford, and that'll take Whelan right to the goal line, and yeah, that'll be disappointing for Brenton Toy and his coaching staff. That's just easy goals given up. So Whelan's on the board for Darwin, and they've, after Tiwi scored that first goal of the quarter, they've hit back with the next 2 in pretty quick time. Yeah,
it sort of ignited the Buffaloes here, almost to the dismay of Pendlebury kind of being pinned for the holding the ball, but were able to turn it back over and get forward. And I think Whelan would have been a little shunned on if he had missed that. He had kick it, and Holt Fitz in acres to pass off to, but he makes no mistake the forward and gives the Buffs the biggest lead of the afternoon so far.
So from the restart, it's well read by Heenan. He goes long inside forward 50. The ball slips over the back. Tupelura runs onto it down there, but right on his tail was Moroney. Bennell comes in, hand passes over the top. Tupelura hand passes forward in hope rather than anything else, and sweeping across the back there was Bean, who found Pendlebury in some space, and he kicks wide where Nathaniel Cooper's taken a good mark running with the flight of the ball. He wastes no time and kicks forward to Jared Stokes, who's run hard to get forward of the ball there, and kicks inside forward 50, just too wide out there, and it floated out of bounds on the full. Cruz with the free kick wasn't really sure where to go. In the end goes short to the big fella D'Souza in the corridor. He goes straight up the middle of the ground, and Damien Dunn takes that mark. He plays on straight away, swings it out wide, or Munkara heard the footsteps, I think, and Vrodos, who'd run off the bench, comes in and thumps it back where the mark's been claimed here by Whelan. It's been paid, and he plays on out wide to Jared Stokes. Jared Stokes runs inside 50 now. His kick was a shocker, and just straight into the player in front of him, but Darwin still with an opportunity as Cooper attempts to kick, had an air shot. Lanyon tidies up, and eventually the umpire said that attempted kick that missed is incorrect disposal, so Paddy Heenan across half back will take the free kick for Tiwi. He goes short, and it's Tipalura. Stanley Tipalura spilt the mark but was able to recover and play on and kick long down here looking for Coombs. The ball slips over the back. Burnell there swings around on the right foot, kicks the ball out into some space, running onto it. Down here for Tiwi was Michael Dunn, but Darwin defenders working feverishly back, and eventually they rush through or behind. So they waste no time bringing it in. Ahmet Watkins takes the mark. He's only about 30 metres out from his defensive goal, chips the ball back across again to Bradley Stokes, and again goes short to Jock straight up the centre corridor. He's got a player free out wide now, and he finds Cassidy out here. Cassidy short to Thomas Clark, and Darwin just chipping it around here, getting players in some space as they work the ball forward of centre now, and Cooper takes the mark. Cooper has a player at half forward looking for Kickett there, and good strong hands overhead. He wastes no time, sees Holt Fitz in the pocket. That's a beautiful pass. Hand passes over the top, easy as you like. Whelan on the goal line, and he just walks it through for another goal to Darwin. So the same story as the first quarter. Tiwi kicked the first goal, and then Darwin have answered with the next three. So they've really blown that lead out to 21 points now, and it was all a bit too easy, George.
Yeah, there's a very beautiful goal there for the Buffaloes. Holt Fitz could have very much done the charismatic and gone around the body and snapped it through, but saw Whelan in the box and unattended, passed across and made sure of a certainty for the Buffaloes. And yeah, threatening to spill out a little bit here. Brenton Toy's side, they're going to want to patch the ship up and at least head into the half-time break with the scoreline, if not snag one or two back.
Yeah, again, they've looked good in passages of play, but just haven't been able to convert it on the scoreboard. So Big D'Souza gets his hand to it. Running through was Heenan, but hand passed under pressure. The kick across half back was Rodos, but he got knocked over after he kicked the ball. The free kick was advantage was paid, and Ogden's kick was pass was a beauty to Kickett, who kicks long down to the goal square. Here, Holt Fitz off the out of the air at the top of the goal square as the ball spilt from the marking contest, but just missed to the left-hand side. Tiwi bring it in straight up the centre of the ground. Mungatopi at half-back goes wide to the outer side, and now they're looking to build round the outer side of the ground, but again it's a one-on-one contest. Burnell in front does really well, takes a good contested mark in front of Bean, out in front of the old TIO scoreboard. He's called to play on now, chips in short to Brendan Cantilla. No one on the mark, but Cantilla hasn't got a lot to go to. Wobbles a kick inside forward 50, that's a shocker, and Pendlebury just says thank you very much as it lands in his lap, and he goes short to Matt Watkins at the back edge of the centre square. He switches to the outer side of the ground, and the mark taken out there by Bean. Bean chips the ball inboard to Jock. Jock has players on the grandstand side, but it changes his mind and goes straight up the ground where Kickett takes the mark, hands it off to Pendlebury. Pendlebury goes long to a one-on-one, and David Cruz, the Tiwi defender, just got lost in the traffic there, and the mark was taken pretty easily by Whelan once again down at full forward, and he's lining up for his third goal of the quarter, I think it is, George.
Yep, sure would be, but a little uncharacteristic there from David Cruz at back there, just sort of got lost in headlights really, didn't make a challenge there, and Whelan can roll on in and convert his third. Buffaloes, yep,
makes no mistake, straight through, and that's 4 in a row for Buffaloes now, and you just see some of the Tiwi players heads down a bit. They've done a fair bit of work in this first half, but just in the last 5 or 6 minutes they've let that let that lead blow out a bit.
Yeah, maybe now is when you're kind of heading into half-time. Brenton Toy maybe looking back at especially that first quarter and some of the missed opportunities, certainly from a goal, and would have made a little bit more respectable on the scoreline, but still not out of it yet. A long way to go, over a half a footy left to play.
So 19 plays 47 at 24.5-minute mark of this first quarter. Won't be too much longer to play in the first half, and Big D'Souza gets his hand to the ball once again, but Thomas Clark on the end of it got one high there, and he'll take the free kick in the centre of the ground. Oh, bit of action going on here, and players not in agreement with each other, but Clark takes the opportunity to play on and kicks inside forward 50, and Nathaniel Cooper did well to read the ball coming inside and got on the end of it, takes a mark. And so another opportunity for Darwin late in this second quarter with a shot on goal. So yeah, not what Tiwi were looking for in the centre of the ground. They just needed to accept the decision, get on with the game and man up their players. But Nathaniel Cooper gets close to the player on the mark. It's just going to get over the goal line, I think. He likes it, and the goal umpire likes it as the siren goes to end the quarter. And Darwin have really flexed their muscles in the last 8 or 10 minutes of that quarter with the last 5 goals, George.
Certainly have, and racing out to an insurmountable lead it seems so far. Half-time here at the TIO Stadium in Darwin. Round 12, no more round. It is the Darwin Buffaloes 8-5-53 leading the Tiwi Bombers 2-7-19. We'll have a little bit of a break here at TIO Stadium and we'll be joined with you with the third quarter.
Just goes over the top. He's got Michael Dunn. Michael Dunn can run inside 50 if he wants, and he does. Just sets it up high. It's going through. What a great goal.
That is a beautiful kick off the boot on the run from Michael Dunn.
Down to a teammate in Shot. Shot gives it off to the running Carter, and here they come again. Mead Harding. Mead Harding picks out Jet Trotter, who thought about going. Post. They've all set themselves there. He's a left footer. Not a bad-looking kick off the boot. Certainly their teammates like it, and they're all going over to him. Yeah, and the goal square. Low now goes out, and he's fumbled it out wide. It's come to the hands of Cunningham again. On the run is Cunningham. He sits it up, and it looks like it's gone through. His teammates are extremely happy, and the all-clear is given. He's telling his players to move. He can kick long and across the ground. He had a target out the back, and he finds him beautifully. And it was Adam Tippenwoody who drifted down quietly. They're at DXC Arena. And if he sits this up, then this is danger time, and they're applauding it straight away. And Tippenwoody gets his first for the day, and the Bombers sneak in front with their 5th goal of the day. Puts it on the boot out in front of Yusuf. It's not picked up. Now it comes to Yusuf. Yusuf on the run, right foot, open goal, puts it through.
Fraternity on the side, but it was there.
D'Souza sends it inside the 50. Stanley Tippenlura picked up there by Gary Purantatameri. Wow. Right foot inside out, puts it through.
What a goal. A hooker today, Ash.
Sends it up to centre half forward, out in the back. Mitchell Lowe. There's a few there. Shannon Rioli picks it up, gives it out to Michael Dunn. Michael Dunn can turn with a right foot snap at goal. I think it's good.
Oh, wowee. Another goal to the Tiwi Bombers and a third goal to Michael Dunn.
He open as Gary Purantatameri tries to run onto it, heads towards the goal, comes to the hands of, let me just see who that is. It was Dion Mankara. Off to McMahon again. McMahon's just an up and under kick. I don't know who it was to. Desmond Tipamatamiri was there. Silver Yusuf was there. Doyle got it. Madden got it. Let go. Play on was the call. It's come to Harvey, who snaps it on his right. Doesn't really have an option. Anything he has got is closed off. He's got to kick it to the contest, but it was Doyle with some use of the body. Clever. Goal post. which he's kind of done, and he sits it up, and there's a few applause, and it's come from the Pint supporters. Doyle is on the board. In. Diving Lanyon can't get it. Picked up there on the left by Trotter. Trotter's shot at goal goes across the face, through for a point, and the game is all locked up.
Well, you're trying to get that really... there's the siren.
There's the siren. Well, there we have it at DXE Arena as everyone goes down onto their haunches. 8 goals, 7 apiece, 55 points. The score is a draw.
Wasn't marked there by Burke, but he gave an attempt. Wills, he gets it, kicks it, and finds a target there in the forward 50. I think it's Heath Morgan-Morris. The Eagles kick that same scoreline, 3 goals 12. So both teams have had interesting years in front of goal. This kick straight over the umpire's head, and the first blood goes to the Magpies for Heath Morgan-Morris. Kick goes inside 50 to Patrick, goes beyond him though. I think it's come off Groves' head. Patrick just snaps it back in the centre corridor.
It's a well pass.
Great kick there.
Yeah.
For them, because really Magpies have controlled most of the game so far. He likes that one off the boot, and the Wanderers get around him. Roll around. Goes into the centre corridor where he finds Jerome Motlop on the siren of quarter time. This could make it 4 from Jerome Motlop. It would give Wanderers confidence heading into the second quarter, and he's kicked it. And look at the Eagles come to him. They're flocking around him as he's kicked that goal to put them 11 points up here. Got nearly from that apex. Now we'll go a short one. Good kick there, and he's found Ben Nason. Didn't have as illustrious a career as he might have at another team, but that is a good kick, and it's through the big sticks. As well as Mencha handball over the top. He chooses the handball. Could have gone a quick kick over. Instead he went a high one to Nason. It'll work though. Nason inside 50, launches on goal, and it goes over the umpire's head. So the Magpies, they take the lead. Very different in the way they play. Here comes Josiah Farah inside 50. Offline. And there we go. Will Farah's kicked a goal.
Yes, he has.
Right on cue. Nearly held. Umpires let it go. That one there, I think it might have been Big Arbin. Kicked it into the pocket. Patrick couldn't take the mark. Got slung without it. Umpire calls play on. Kicked off the ground and through for a goal. Big Eddie Simpson's kicked that one through, and that puts the Wanderers in front again by 5 points. He goes a short one now to the leader, Patrick, and that finds him beautifully. Not sure how his game's looking as to whether he'll kick this or not. He's almost tried to put it too high, but it's gone through. He's happy with that. He celebrates. Yes. The Wanderers get out to an 11-point lead. About 45 metres out when he kicks it. Wheels around. That's a good kick, and that is the sealer. Wanderers are home. They lead by 16 points.
No good. Nightcliff have the football. His distance, I reckon. Wilson, very deliberate, kicks on goal, and George, the Tigers are in front.
Hallelujah there. First goal of the afternoon going to the way of the Tigers. And
Golden, Waratah back into attack. Inside forward 50. Running hard is Magro. Yep. But he's a noted goal kicker, Magro. That was a shank once again, but I reckon it's cleared everyone. That was an absolute shocker. It's cleared everyone, and Tars are back in front. Nightcliff just clearing with ease into the middle of the ground. One bounce. Stevens, lovely kick forward. Open goal square, and he's nailed it from 65. Moo, Hooper.
Wonderful. Plucked it out of the air and goes bang. I believe it was James Gow.
Free kick by the field umpire. Bowles goes long as he always does. The elegant left footer over the back. There's Moo. You called him earlier. You called him earlier, George, and he's got you. Dragged off the footy, Moo. Back they go. And a mark taken, a lovely mark taken. We called him earlier, and he's had a crack, Big Pope. He just must. He really must kick this. And I reckon he has.
Certainly has, but.
And Butler will take the free kick. Now he's got to convert this, but he kicks it, goes to a running teammate. Let's see who that one was. In front, Butler gets it down. Series of handballs. Picked up Waddy. Waddy goes back, looking for Magro. Magro onto the left foot. Can he weave some magic? Can he weave some magic? Jaden Magro kicks his second and puts Waratah in front.
I mean, you're minusing that. It was on the run. Set shot. Time to assess.
Magro. Oh, he's nailed it. He just cannot miss. He cannot miss. That's his third goal. Football, the tall man. Kane gets it out by hand. Magro, more magic. Yes!
Jaden Magro, wow.
We all have the right to feel safe and respected at home and in our communities.
When we feel safe and respected, our homes and communities feel happier and healthier.
This weekend we'll wear orange armbands and our umpires will wear orange socks to say no more to domestic and family violence.
We have many relationships in our lives with our families, partners and teammates on the sporting field.
A respectful relationship is one where you're both honest and trust each other.
A strong relationship is one where you celebrate each other's successes.
A positive relationship is when you feel seen, heard and appreciated.
A healthy relationship is when you respect each other's boundaries.
A supportive relationship is one where you can share your feelings and concerns without feeling shame.
We'll stand shoulder to shoulder to support happier homes and safer communities.
Link up with us this weekend for the No More round to say no more to domestic and family violence.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Moments before the third quarter kicking off here, round 12 of the Men's Premier League 2022-23 TIO NTFL season. Of course, this is no more round, and we've had a very entertaining match so far, especially that second quarter if you're a Darwin Buffaloes fan, but not all doom and gloom for the Bombers yet. Stuart, plenty of time to go.
Yeah, that's right, but Buffalo's kicking the last 5 goals of that second quarter really stretched that lead out. But Tiwi have had some promising signs. They just need to convert it to the scoreboard and just continue being more competitive. I think that'll be Brenton Toy's objective for the rest of the season. They're you would think they'd be hard pressed to push for finals, but just want to get back to being competitive every week and having a go and giving themselves something to play for. But we're underway again in the third quarter here as D'Souza reaches over the top, gets it down to Lanyon. He hand passes into the path of Mikey Coombs, who paddles the ball forward, gets it down inside forward 50. kick of some sorts over the top from Munkara. Coombs is involved again, carried it forward, but then in the tackle the ball spilled out. Pretty frantic in the early stages of this quarter as the Tipalura kicks in. It was John Tipalura kicking in, and I think it's Stanley Tipalura who's got on the end of it to take the mark. So this is an impressive opening to the second half by Tiwi, and surely George, a set shot from the top of the goal square won't miss.
No, should not miss. That's, as you said, Stanley Tipalura comes through and slots it in. Exactly the start that Brenton Toy's side would have wanted, and that eats into that lead.
So Tiwi's third goal, and strangely enough they've kicked the first goal of each of the quarters in this match, and then have failed to go on with it. So hopefully for the game's sake and for Tiwi's sake they can turn that around and string some together. It's interesting that Mikey Coombs has been thrown into the centre of the ground, probably not as fit as he has been in years past, but he's certainly a strong competitor, and he won't be shy in putting his body in the middle, that's for sure. As from the restart, Jared Stokes this time just stands there and has the ball tapped down his throat, kicks it long inside forward 50. Hand pass comes out. Holt Fitz now swings around on the right foot, but he's just hooked that back too far and through for a behind. So a quick forward entry from Darwin out of that centre bounce restart. Paddy Heenan runs out of defence, has a couple of bounces, and then just wasn't in sync with his teammates down there, and had to hand pass under pressure, and it went out of bounds, and a boundary throw in. Still inside defensive 50 for Tiwi. So Whelan doing the ruck work, hooks it back. Brodos runs onto it, picks it up nicely, gets a hand pass across to Pendlebury. Pendlebury out on the left foot, brings that one back nicely and through for a goal. Gee, that was terrific work from Brodos. Just good clean hands, and gave the ball, and Pendlebury just had a little bit of space and just out onto that left foot and through for a goal.
Yeah, good bit of work there from Buffalo's centre player there, John Brodos, just to get through a little congested bit of traffic and saw the gold at the end of the tunnel, which was Ryan Pendlebury, and makes no mistake there. And I guess following the trend of the other previous two quarters, Buffalo's hit back, but it's what is done from now on in which will matter most for Tiwi. Will they allow the Buffaloes to go on again and kick away, or can they wrestle back the game and kick the next couple goals?
Gee, Brodos has been good today. Just really clean every time he's gone near the ball. Clean hands, gives quickly, and just opens up opportunities for his teammates. So this time it's Tiwi with the clearance through Burnell, who kicks long into space out in front of Tipalura down there, but Darwin have got the numbers. Ogden goes by hand to Armat Watkins, who's helpless really in the end. He was off balance and caught in the tackle and just carried over the boundary line, so it'll be a boundary throw in. D'Souza in front. Atkinson works him underneath the ball and spills to the back. Munkara on the left foot kicks inside 50, but Moroney over the top takes a good mark, and he's got players spreading. Oh, that's a kick that just held in the air a bit too long and probably wasn't on really, and Michael Dunn took the opportunity, came in, took the intercept mark, and he'll be kicking from about 50 metres. It looks like he's going to try to run round the player on the mark. He does so now, kicks long towards goal. Is it coming back? It's not going to reach, but that's Tipalura again. Stanley Tipalura got his hands to the ball but couldn't complete the mark, and it spilled over and through for a behind. So Darwin now coming grandstand side again. Perhaps not the best option, but it floats over the back, and Holt Fitz uses his hands to Eldridge. Eldridge back here to Aaron Stokes, who chips the ball down inside forward 50, slips through the hands of Mitch Robinson down there and allows the Tiwi players to come in and close on him, and yeah, he's not very happy with his efforts there. He should have done better and put himself and his team under pressure, and they've got a stoppage however, just outside forward 50 as D'Souza just lays it down but misses his intended target. Holt Fitz, the ball slips out of his hands. He's back involved again. Lanyon dives on it for Tiwi, works it forward, and that's good teamwork as Benell. Beautiful spearing pass inside, and they've opened it up here. They've got players ahead of the ball. Stanley Tipalura on the end, received it from Puruntatameri, and Tipalura ran into the open goal. So once they got out behind, there was no stopping them. They had players in space, and I think there was only Kevin Moroney back there for Darwin. He had no hope.
Yeah, just overcommitted a little bit too much on that particular passage of play, and great ball though from Harley Bennell, as he's been all afternoon. That diamond touch on the end of a lot of Tiwi Bombers' best work, getting the ball in, and really from that position, Stanley Tipalura getting his second of the afternoon. Yeah, so they've moved Stanley into the goal square, and it's paying off with his 2 goals so far this quarter. So this is more promising from Tiwi. They've got their second for the quarter on the board and able to answer Darwin's comeback goal. So again, they win the clearance through Lanyon down to half forward. Bennell again on the end of it, but just knocked away from him. Just big D'Souza comes in, gets tackled with the ball. Holt Fitz cleverly gets out of the tackle and now swings the ball on the left foot straight down the middle of the ground, but not well directed, and Hooker takes the intercept mark for Tiwi. He goes short, and Lanyon, who's impressed with his running all day, gets into position and then takes the mark, kicks out wide to Cruz on the outer side of the ground. Not a lot ahead of him, and there's Tiwi players on the near side, but he's looking to switch now, which is probably the best option, and comes back to McCarthy. McCarthy's got a player out wide, but tries to run inboard. Hand passes over the top to Cantilla. Cantilla under some pressure, tries the long hand pass, but gee, they've put himself under pressure here as Pendlebury comes in, snaps at goal again, but just misses to the near side. But yeah, just some wrong options taken, then put themselves under pressure, and Tiwi were lucky not to concede another goal there, as Madden goes straight up the middle of the ground looking for Munkara, finds him at centre half back. He plays on now, swings onto the left foot, kicks inside the centre square, and finds Hooker. Hooker hand passes back to Munkara, who kept running. He's under some pressure now as he takes a bounce, but manages to get out of it and kicks down to Coombs. Coombs quickly onto Bennell. Bennell looking inboard now, spears the pass in and finds Puruntatameri, who takes the mark. He plays on now, kicks long down towards full forward, and out in front. Gee, that was a bit easy as well, as Tipalura once again, Stanley Tipalura took the mark, but I thought his opponent Jonas Nicky might have been a bit more desperate on that occasion to try and get a fist to the ball. So Stanley Tipalura going for his third for the quarter, playing out of the goal square now, and no mistake whatsoever, straight through the middle, and this is much better by Tiwi in the third quarter, George. Yeah, they've certainly now made much more of a game of it. It's bringing down the deficit for the Bombers, and yep, Stanley Tipalura 3 goals in just the third quarter alone, so they've written a lot of the wrongs of the previous 2, registered multiple goals. Yeah, so obviously a golden move by Brenton Toy, isolating Tipalura in the goal square down there, and he's certainly repaid him as Tiwi narrow that gap now to 23 points as we tick over 9 minutes in this third quarter. D'Souza again gets his hand to the ball. It's hacked out of the air by Dunn, but only as far as Ogden, who chipped the ball forward, and now Cooper running onto it for Darwin. Kicks inside 50, he's got a player on the lead. It was Whelan, slipped through his hands, trying to run the ball out of defence. Was Cantilla, he got almost run down from behind, hand pass forward in the end, trying to give it to Apatimi, but under pressure, the ball got forced over the boundary line, and another boundary throw in. Sterling and D'Souza. Ball comes to the front where Munkara takes it, tried to
fashion a pass, but was chopped off by Cooper, who finds Ogden inboard, and Lionel Ogden in his first game in the double blue colours has a look at what he's got ahead of him, chips the ball inside forward 50, but David Cruz read it best. He takes the mark and doesn't like the attention he got in taking the mark, but wasn't a lot in that, I don't think. And then his pass has missed the target, and unfortunately for Tiwi, Mankara couldn't get to it, and it bounces over the boundary line for another boundary throw-in. Sterling and D'Souza once again doing the ruck work. D'Souza easily wins that one, but straight to his opponent. Holt Fitz got it to Robinson. Robinson tries to spear a pass, but it's only as far as Hooker. He goes straight up the middle of the ground. Or the I'm not sure what's happened here. It's something behind the play, and I think the umpire's going for the book as well. So yeah, it was out of camera shot, I think, and it's a free kick to Sterling Mitchell in the end, and he'll take the kick from just inside forward 50. So Mitchell's kick just hung it out to the right, I think, through for a behind. So yeah, a bit of a mystery what happened there, but we're back on board. No real damage done for Tiwi as far as the scoreboard's concerned, and now they're looking to bring the ball back in. Madden chips it short to the outer side where McCarthy takes the mark, and Madden's run on and receives it back. He's got Lanyon running towards him there and finds him just outside of defensive 50 on the outer side of the ground, but again, not a lot to go to, so goes down the line round the outer side. D'Souza got his hands to the ball in the marking contest, but it was spoiled away and over the boundary line for a boundary throw in on centre wing outer side of the ground. Mitchell reaches over the top, but he's given away the free kick in doing so, and D'Souza will take that free kick. He kicks long around the outer side of the ground. The ball spills over the back. Pressure on the players over the ball, and no one can break away with it, and we'll have a ball up out in front of the scoreboard between wing and half forward on the outer side of the ground. Again, plenty of players around the ball as they try to work it out of the congestion. Quick kick comes out and chopped off there by Nicky, who hand passes the ball back into traffic really as Tiwi eventually work it forward, and Burnell fires a pass in, but good defensive work down there by Moroney, and sees the ball over the boundary line for another boundary throw in. So just a little bit scrappy at the moment as there's plenty of players around the ball and not much clean ball use as none of the rucks get their hands to that ball. In fact, it's going to be recalled and we'll have another attempt at the boundary throw in. So Mitchell over the back just gets a fist to the ball. Nicky chips it out wide, and now the chance for Darwin as Clark gets the hand pass inboard, misses the target. Armat Watkins runs back onto it now, picks up and gets tackled with the ball. Holt Fitz is involved as well. There's a whistle on the play, and high contact free kick going to Paddy Heenan. Heenan wastes no time, but that's not his best kick out in front of Burnell, but there's a couple of Buffalo defenders out there as well. Burnell picks it up, but he's under plenty of pressure now as Ogden comes in appealing for deliberate out of bounds, but that's not the way the umpire's seen it, and it'll be a boundary throw in. So just about a 4 or 5 minute passage here with not much happening. The ball just not flowing freely at all at this stage as from the boundary throw in. Sterling Mitchell reaching over the top again, got it down to Clark. Clark throws it onto his boot. Good defensive work there, but well read by Cooper for Darwin. Off a step, he sees Jock forward and finds him. And now Jock just slows things up. There's going to be a 50-metre penalty here for infringing on the protected area. Just the Tiwi players trying to run back in defence, just got in too close. And this will give another relatively straightforward opportunity for a shot on goal for Thomas Jock from only about 30 metres out directly in front. So Jock now kicks towards goal, but he's dragged that one to the left. And again a let off for Tiwi as 50-metre penalty starting to mount against them, but the short pass comes in looking for Cantilla. It just fell short of him, but he had time to recover. Chips the ball around the outer side of the ground looking for Lanyon there. He gets to it in the end on the bounce. The hand pass comes forward and Cruz runs back and takes possession now, swings around and floats one down along the wing. Coming in was Moroney. He almost got tunnelled there by Burnell, but Eldridge has tidied up for Darwin. He kicks long inside forward 50, looking for Kickett down there. There's Tiwi flyers everywhere, but Jared Stokes picks up, hand passes off to Pendlebury. Pendlebury on the right foot, kicks the ball out in front of Whelan down there, but it got thumped away. Ogden comes in, hand passes back towards the goal square, but good defensive work by Tiwi. Rush it through for another behind. And Paddy Heenan runs out of the goal square now with a couple of bounces towards the outer side of the ground. He kicks long around the wing where he's got a player in some space, and Tiwi looking to get the ball forward, but Darwin have worked back in some numbers out here, and spear pass in looking for Jared Stokes was chopped off, and Tiwi run it away again, and Michael Dunn on the end of it this time. Plays on straight away looking for Tipalura in that one-on-one, but the Darwin defenders work back, and the hand pass eventually comes out to Bean, who has Ogden out in some space on the grandstand wing. He takes the mark, plays on straight away, finds Thomas Clark just forward of centre wing, and he chips the ball back inboard. Matt Watkins runs onto that, tries to run on straight away, but got run down, and Brendan Cantilla comes in and tidies up. Mark taken nicely in between two Buffalo's opponents by Mungatopi, but he's kicked it down to the advantage of the nest of Buffalo players down there, and well done by Aaron Stokes, who found Cooper, but he tried to pass inboard, and that was chopped off by Lanyon. So Lanyon plays on quickly, finds Dunn. Dunn goes out wider again to Mikey Coombs in some space and time. He chips the ball into the goal square, and I think it's that man again in Stanley Tipalura, who was waiting on the goal line uncontested, and just thumps through another goal. So Stanley Tipalura kicks his fourth for the quarter. Coombs probably could have taken the shot himself, George, but did the team thing.
Yeah, sure could have against his former side. Instead does the, you said, team-like thing, approach and puts over for Tipalura, who has scored Tiwi and his fourth of the quarter, and certainly raising the decibel levels in the grandstands. The Tiwi fans are certainly getting involved in this one again, and it's surely showing on the pitch as well.
So it's only a 20-point margin now after Darwin led by nearly 6 goals at half-time. So 4 goals to 1 in this quarter, and giving those vocal Tiwi fans some hope as regards to the outcome of this game. But Jared Stokes cleverly gets it across to Vrodos. Vrodos inside forward 50, gets it out in front of Jaden. Kickett on the bounce. Kickett swoops on it, hand passes back to Jock. Jock looking to go short, finds Thomas Clark, and that was clever play down there. Kickett, good clean hands, got it back to Jock, and Jock had a look, saw Clark in some space and just chipped it in, and Tommy Clark will go back and kick from about 35 out, pretty much straight in front.
Be a very important goal, certainly for his side. The vice captain can steady the ship slightly. There's a bit of a elevation of Tiwi Bombers' pressure. This would certainly stem the flow and just reassure his teammates and supporters that they're still in control.
He's kicked that very high, but very straight as well, straight through. So a good finish by Thomas Clark, and really after Tiwi had kicked the previous 3 goals, it was one that they badly needed just to steady the ship a bit, as you said, George.
Still certainly not out of it just yet. We've seen the Bombers already kick 4, and that's 4 Tipalura goals, and so with only a 26-point margin, it's not insurmountable, especially if they can sneak 1 before 3-quarter time.
So we're into time on in the 3rd quarter, and Darwin just stretched that lead out to 26 points again, but Tiwi playing with plenty of confidence at the moment as Harley Bennell back on the ground and in the centre. He just had a short spell on the bench, but back out there now, and we've got him and the strong man Mikey Coombs and Lanyon in the centre, and Big D'Souza doing the ruck work as the ball falls to Bennell, who wins the clearance, kicks long down towards half forward. Oh, a strong mark in the contest down there, and it was Munkara who hit the ground, but nothing illegal in that, and Pendlebury chips it out wide. Cooper takes a mark, looks to run straight on, gets a hand pass over the top to Jock. Jock swings past Cruz, who came in to put the pressure on, and now kicks long down towards the goal square. The ball slips over the back. Holt Fitz lurking there, as is Brendan Cantilla, and the ball rolling, and Cantilla just lets it go over the boundary line, and a boundary throw in once again. So from the boundary throw in, ball thumped forward. Bennell gets the quick hands to Lanyon. Lanyon to Munkara. Munkara over the top here, and Tiwi have worked it through the hands all the way out of defensive 50 and down along the wing now as Cunningham runs onto it. He's does a tumble forward as he had his, I think he had his heel clipped by Jonas Nicky there, and pretty acrobatic. And he'll get up and take the free kick now. So just probably had a bit too much pace for Jonas Nicky, and I don't know if the heel clip was deliberate or accidental, but it certainly stopped the momentum from Tiwi going forward. Hooker running forward now, but Cunningham just chips back in board to Munkara, who kicks beautifully to Hooker, who had run forward. He's outside forward 50 still, and just looking at what's ahead of him, there's plenty of blue jumpers have worked their way back. He drags the ball back in towards centre half forward, where it's picked up, hand pass inboard, just a little too high, and Mitch Robinson hacked it out of the air, out of defence for Tiwi. Ball spills out now, and again Cunningham tried to pick up one-handed. Mungatopi in there just got tackled with the ball, and now another strong tackle, but it's a high tackle, and it's going to be a Buffalo's free kick down here. So it goes against Cunningham this time, and Holt Fitz, who's worked back to help out defensively, will take the free kick and kicks grandstand side, but that's a poorly directed kick, and D'Souza chops that one off without any problem whatsoever. It's got a player short, and goes to him, and Hooker out on the wing here. So looking at what options he's got, and eventually he's called to play on, so he just goes long down the line. Big D'Souza's worked forward down there, got a hand to it, but Aaron Stokes gets the hand pass back to Atkinson, to Vrodos, and Pendlebury, and out to Jock, and now Jock trying to go long over the top, and he's got Cooper out there in some space. He takes the mark, plays on straight away, cleverly chips the ball off the outside of the boot back inside the corridor, where Thomas Clark once again had worked himself into some space, and the pass was good, hit him, and Clark will settle things down, go back, take the set shot, bit further out from where he was when he kicked the previous goal, but he is a good kick of the football, and he'll take all the time available to him here. So he'll be kicking from just inside 50, and kicks on the way now. Again high, but high and long once again. That's a beautiful, two beautiful finishes, George, from Thomas Clark, and he knows his range, knows his distance, and he's finished nicely on both of those.
Yeah, wonderfully done. You almost thought with both of his goals that went through with the goal umpire unmoving that they weren't going to make the distance just purely as how high they went, but great strikes off the boot and kicking the Buffalo's last 2 goals, very much just reaffirming their position and their 32-point advantage now on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen someone kick as high and long as that consistently as Tommy Clark does, but as I said, knows his game, and those 2 answering goals have made it a bit more comfortable for Darwin heading towards 3/4 time. So the restart again. D'Souza gets his hand to the ball and picks up and wins the clearance himself, kicks long down towards half forward. Aaron Stokes down there working hard in front, and he's done a good job, and he picks up, tidies up and chips short to Mitch Robinson inside the corridor. Almost fell over the field umpire there, but got his kick forward, and Jared Stokes takes a nice mark under pressure. He wastes no time, goes outside to Jock, who's found himself in plenty of space in this 3rd quarter. Again, a beautiful pass inside 50, but the mark spilt this time by Whelan, and Tiwi the opportunity to run it out through Heenan, straight up the middle of the ground to Munkara. Munkara goes short looking for Purantara Mary. He gets on the end of it now on the bounce, kicks inside forward 50, finds Michael Dunn in some space. Dunn runs on, and he's kicked the goal for Tiwi. So from that spilt mark inside forward 50 from Darwin, Tiwi have taken the advantage, pounced on it and worked the ball beautifully all the way down the ground, and Michael Dunn got on the end of it and kicks Tiwi's 5th goal for the quarter.
Yeah, great passage of play there. Just kind of very much a goal against the tide there. Buffalo's maybe once again committing one too many men forward, and great bit of space there by Dunn, and really wasn't going to miss there. He almost did, but made the goal umpire do a bit of work, but that's stemmed the flow once again to Tiwi's advantage.
Just terrific, typical Tiwi footy, rebound footy. Once the mistake was made, they'd pounced on it, and players just running forward and had players in space in the end. As we're from the restart again, Lanyon gets the hand pass back, double-fisted forward by Bennell as the siren goes, and an entertaining quarter of footy where Tiwi have kicked 5 goals to Darwin's 3 and given themselves a bit of a sniff, George.
Yeah, certainly have. Much more entertaining, and the Bombers certainly showing life in their game and to their season perhaps as we head to 3/4 time. Darwin Buffaloes 11-10-76 lead the Tiwi Bombers 7-8-50. A short break coming, and we'll be with you shortly for the 4th quarter.
This afternoon here at TIO Stadium. To the left of your radio they go.
Wow, what a goal to start the game.
Beautiful. Goes for home and has nailed an absolute ripstorter. From the pocket, and he's kicked an absolute ripper.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Final quarter about to start here at TIO Stadium, round 12 of the NTFL Men's Premier League, and it's the Darwin Buffaloes carrying into it a handy 26-point lead, 11-10-76, play 7-8-50, but still a quarter to go, and as we saw in the third, if Tiwi race off to a couple goals here, Stuart, it could be very interesting.
Yeah, that's right. They showed some promising signs in that third quarter and gave themselves a sniff, but Darwin pushing for a spot in that top 5 at the end of the season, of course, will not let it go easily as we're underway, and Coombs in there does some good work, gets a hand pass back to Lanyon. The mark taken by Dion Munkara, plays on straight away, kicks inside forward 50 and out to the advantage of Tupelura once again. So Stanley Tupelura kicked 4 goals in that third quarter, and he's really brought Tiwi to life, and he's taken the mark deep in the right forward pocket, and looks like he's pretty confident with what he can do. Going for the set shot here, kicks on the way, he's just left that on the narrow side and through for a behind. And you'll notice on your screens the umpires wearing the bright orange socks today, and all the players wearing orange armbands, and that's to recognise the No More campaign. This is No More round in territory footy, and of course No More addresses prevention of domestic and family violence and violence throughout the community, as we play on around the outer side of the ground, and Bean kicks the ball forward for Buffs. Ogden running onto it, just couldn't control it in the end, and slips out of his hands and over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in. So Darwin have worked the ball to their half-forward area for this boundary throw-in. As over the top, the ball's paddled out the back for Tiwi. Holt Fitz gets on the end of it though, gets a quick kick forward now, spills into the hands of Pendlebury, tries to hand pass inboard. Cooper's in there, just grabbed his opponent, threw him out of the way, and now Pendlebury chips forward and finds a player out in some space, and the mark taken out here by Matthew Cassidy for Darwin, and he's taken that mark about 30 metres out, and on about a 45-degree angle, kicking to the Michael Long centre end of the ground in this final quarter in the round 12 match. He's left that out to the right though, and there's just a one-on-one contest down there. I think everyone on the ground thought he was going to make the distance no problem, and there was only the one player from each team back on the goal line as the ball squirted out to the right-hand side and eventually knocked over the boundary line for another boundary throw-in. So from that throw-in, a hack kick off the ground by Joey Collinson down there, but the umpires ruled that that was in danger, and it's going to be a Tiwi free kick in the defensive half, as Apatimi takes that kick and finds Cantilla out wide on the half-back flank. He takes the mark and runs off now, has a third bounce, hand passes over the top to Bennell. Bennell runs forward and he's got a player running over the top. That's Michael Dunn, gets on the end of that, takes the mark, now wheels around inboard, looks to play on. He kicks fat side to the other side where Cruz is running onto it in contest with Aaron Stokes. They bump shoulders as the ball rolled towards the boundary line, and neither could keep the ball in play, and it's a boundary throw-in once again. So Tiwi have worked that ball all the way down the ground and got a stoppage in their forward half. Cruz doing the ruck work, just thumps it forward and back over the boundary line again for another boundary throw-in. So Cruz, who normally plays as a defender, played the first 3 quarters in defence, looks like he's been thrown forward in this last quarter just to try to give them a spark down there and give Tupelura some support as he reaches over the top, wins a hit out down here, trying to get the clearance out of there was Nicky, but still inside defensive 50. Lanyon with the ball in his hands now gets wrapped up in the tackle, and it'll be a ball up, still inside forward 50 for Tiwi, as Umpire wastes no time getting the ball in the air. Purantarameri got a hand pass out. Coombs a kick along the ground, but tied it up in defence again through the hands of Ogden out there, and picked up in defence and cleared out by Buffaloes. But Tiwi have got the numbers as Lanyon hand passes backwards here, looking for Apatumi, but the handball just slipped out of his hands as he was tackled, and it's going to be a Darwin free kick to Holt Fitz. Holt Fitz wastes no time, goes out wide and finds Robinson on the outer wing. Robinson plays on now, and that's a beautiful pass, and he finds Cassidy on the outer side of the ground. Cassidy being directed back over his mark now. He's just outside forward 50 as sees something he likes inboard, and that's a good pass, and Jock again has found himself in some space inside forward 50, this time about 40 metres out on a slight angle, and he'll go back and take the set shot. So just steadying things down for Darwin, and a chance to score here as player on the mark has given him 10 metres or so here. I presume it's Lanyon. He's going to move in as he comes in to kick, but didn't really, and Jock took advantage of that and kicked it straight over the goal umpire's head for Darwin's first goal of the quarter, the first goal of the quarter. So Thomas Jock has found himself in space inside forward 50 on a number of occasions in this second half, and they've looked for him most times going forward. So it's Darwin who kicked the first goal of the final quarter and stretched that lead out again to just over 5 goals.
Yeah, third time's a charm there for Thomas Jock, missing on the other 2 set shots the big man had for the Buffaloes, but that one there, first goal of the fourth quarter, just puts that lead to just a stretch over 30 points. 5 goals for the Buffaloes. So yeah, the move with Cruz is to get him into the ruck, resting forward obviously, so he's doing the ruck work now. Atkinson just bundles him out of the way. Vrodos swept on it, that's almost a throw, but comes back to the advantage of Vrodos, who runs outside the centre square on the outer side and kicks forward now. Running onto it down there for Darwin was Cassidy. He got caught with the ball, and it's going to be a Tiwi free kick for holding the ball down there. They chip the ball around inside forward defensive 50, sorry, and Madden takes the mark. He goes short again, and has found Lanyon, who's kept running all day, and he drills the ball up the middle of the ground. That's a good pass, and finds Mungatopi at centre half back. So he hasn't got much movement ahead of him. He's called to play on now as he went to kick, and eventually goes out wide looking for Cantilla, and the pass is good, but they haven't made much ground as Cantilla goes long around the wing now looking for Mikey Coombs here. Coombs got his hands to the ball, couldn't hold on to the mark. Rioli comes in, tapped the ball forward, but was chopped off, and now Brodos, strong body, clean hands once again, uses kicks on the left this time, and Cunningham for Tiwi just chipped in, took the intercept mark, and that was well read as he got it worked his way in front of Matt Watkins, and he goes long down here looking for Bennell. The ball spills over the top. Coombs dives on it, then just thumps it forward off the ground. Purantarameri kicks inside forward 50, but well read by Jonas Nicky, and he takes the intercept mark, and it just slows things down, and kicks out wide to Bradley Stokes. Bradley Stokes at halfback. He switches inboard again and finds Bean in just forward of the defensive goal square. He goes straight up the ground to Pendlebury, who was by himself in some space, and now Bean has run forward again, and Pendlebury chips out wide to him. He's got a player out wide in Moroney, and Darwin just finding free players to chip the ball around to as they work it to the outer side of the ground, and it comes back to Moroney again, who's got
Matt Watkins in the corridor if he wants to go that way, but instead goes forward and finds Atkinson out there. Atkinson goes around the wing and finds Jared Stokes. He chips the ball inboard to Pendlebury, and Pendlebury again chips it in here and finds Bean. So not much pressure on the Darwin players. Tiwi players have rolled back behind, that's why they're chipping it around, but Bean eventually went along looking for Jock, but just too far out in front of him, and it bounces over the boundary line for a boundary throw in. So the throw in on the outer side of the ground. Atkinson over the back, just flipped it out. Collinson runs onto it, but coming in there for Tiwi was Hooker. He got caught without the ball. Oh, he got caught with the ball, in fact, and it spilled out. And Collinson will take the free kick for incorrect disposal out there. He's looking to chip short out close to the boundary line, and does so. And big Atkinson's worked forward, I think it is, who will take this kick from deep out on the outer side of the ground. He kicks short again. Holt Fitz, oh, that was a bit untidy, and it'll be a pretty obvious free kick in the forward pocket to Liam Holt Fitz as he's got ploughed into the back out there. So it's all a bit stagnant at the moment. Not much movement of the ball, but Holt Fitz with an opportunity, just swings around on his left foot, pulled that one back beautifully. He liked it from the time it came off the boot, and he knew exactly what he was doing, got the angles right, and swung it through for another goal. Darwin's second of the quarter, and Tiwi players just seem to have run out of run a bit here. I hope that's not the case, because they looked promising in the third quarter, but haven't delivered too much so far in this quarter, George.
For the best part of 3.5 minutes, the passing in between the Darwin Buffaloes backline, eventually going forward. The end result, Liam Holt Fitz goal, which is certainly not to the tune of what Brendan Toy would want, but that's structured work there, killing some time off the clock and edging it forward, and ultimately getting another goal to further extend the margin.
So Atkinson in, doing the ruck work against D'Souza. D'Souza thumps it forward. Purancharameri couldn't control it under pressure from Robinson. There's a free kick on the play here, and it's going to go Atkinson's way. No, it's not. It was Jared Stokes off the ball, so he hand passes on to Robinson. Robinson goes long, inside forward 50. And again, untidy work in the marking contest down there, and it'll be a Buffaloes free kick, and it'll be Liam Whelan who will take the free kick. And Whelan kicked those 3 goals in the third quarter, but that's the only goals he's kicked for the day, so an opportunity for, in the second quarter it was, sorry, that he kicked the 3 goals, but a chance for him now with a set shot only about 30 metres out. Darwin by 37 points as we go past 13 minutes in this final quarter, and Whelan kick on the way. Not the most fluent of approaches to kick the ball, but he's just drifted that one off to the right hand side and through for a behind again. So the spare ball's missing from behind the goal down there as match manager gets one back into play now, and so Tiwi will bring it back in. It's Hooker back in defence. D'Souza calling for it long, grandstand side here, and just goes a bit more inboard than that. Cruz flies but misses the ball. Aaron Stokes over the top of it, hand passes it forward. Mitch Robinson comes in but loses his footing as he scrambles for the ball on the ground. Cruz tries to tap it forward to the advantage of Bennell, who's doing the same now himself as Cruz gets involved. Toe pokes it forward. Lanyon picks it up nicely, fishes the hand pass out wide here, to McLennan. McLennan gets it to Munkara. Munkara goes long towards goal, but working back defensively was Sterling Mitchell, and he got a fist to the ball and just knocked it through for a rush behind, and takes the kick in himself to the outer side of the ground where Nathaniel Cooper's found some space. He goes wider again to Thomas Clark, who has a bounce, then hand passes over the top to Cooper again. Cooper hand passes over the top to Jared Stokes, who tries to spin out of trouble, does so, but the umpire's calling it back for a relayed free kick. It was the infringement was on Cooper, and Stokes will take the downfield free kick. Jared Stokes just chips short, and Jock again. He's got Lionel hooked and in some space. He runs straight into the back of the field umpire there, and couldn't get anywhere near it in the end, and so it's Tiwi who take the intercept mark, and now running out of defence. The long barrel straight down the middle of the ground. Tipalura gets to it but spilt the chest mark. The ball comes back here now. Tipalura involved again as the ball on the ground, but loses his footing, still working hard for it on the ground as Stokes comes in and tidies up, gets a hand pass back to Atkinson, who chips it again out there looking for Bradley Stokes, and he swings the ball back inboard to Pendlebury. Pendlebury on the right foot goes outside. And the mark spilt there by Jared Stokes. Bit of untidy play here as he goes backwards to Moroney, and Tiwi players just walking really as Darwin players just find some space and chip the ball around in the back half, and Atkinson now over cooks the kick looking for Nicky, but Nicky's going to have plenty of time to work back onto it, and now picks up and kicks along the wing. Cooper underneath this one takes a mark out in front of Bennell, and they have some words down there, but Cooper chips it inboard where Jock has found plenty of space once again. And he chips the ball here looking for Mitchell, who in the end let it go and allowed Cooper to take the mark on the chest. He chips it over the top and finds Thomas Clark. Clark drills the ball inside to Robinson. Robinson picks it up, kicks under pressure inside forward 50. The kick was good and out in front of Pendlebury, who took it on the chest. Now he's got Holt Fitz in some space forward, and pretty untidy defensively there by Tiwi as Darwin just chipped it around and then found their player only about 20 metres from goal, and Holt Fitz looks like he's going to go round the corner again here. He did it on the left foot previously, this time on the right foot from out in front. No mistake, straight through the middle, knows what he's doing with those ones, and in the end he's finished up with a pretty good day. I think 3 goals, George, is that right?
Certainly has 3 goals, and Darwin Buffalo's third as well of the final quarter, and it's adding a lot of percentage now for the Buffaloes going into that Christmas break. It surely would take them over 100%, starting of course on 98 and holding their spot in the top 4. But once again, it was just, I guess, placid movement from the Bombers there as the Buffaloes just chipping their way through, finding their way forward, and again Holt Fitz the reward and some good passage of play.
Yeah, Darwin just prepared to be patient, I think, just playing the possession game, and Tiwi not working hard enough to man up, and so Darwin being able to find players in space. D'Souza wins the hit out down to Bennell, who ran onto that and now wheels around on the right foot, kicks long down here. The ball spills over the back. Munkara just lost his footing and got tackled with the ball. Mitchell hand passes backwards under pressure to Moroney. Moroney goes out wide here looking for Ogden, and Ogden takes the mark in the right back forward pocket. He plays on. He's got Jock. He's had no one near him all day at Jock, and again he's out in 20 metres of space and takes the mark, kicks inboard to Robinson. Robinson hand passes him inside to Clark. Clark drills the pass, and that's a beautiful passage of play once again, and Matthew Cassidy gets on the end of it, and he takes the mark 40 out from goal on the outer side of the ground. And again Darwin players look to be free inside forward 50 as Mitch Robinson's just standing there saying, how about me? But Cassidy going back and going to take responsibility himself here as crosses the paint of 50, kicks long towards goal. It's drifting just across the face and through for another behind to Darwin. So Burnell has worked his way back. He's going to take the kick in for Tiwi, as he's got some players moving close to him. He's looking for something a bit further out, and eventually sees Lanyon, who's that one put him under plenty of pressure and got contact from behind. And yeah, that was a strong contest, but not sure if the free kick's been paid or not. I don't think it has. It's going to be a boundary throw in, so yeah, he's looking a bit wobbly there. He copped that in the back of the head, I think.
Yeah, I don't think there was much malice there from the Buffaloes player. It's just more challenge for the ball, but yeah, very, very unlucky there, and one of those waking up with a sore head on Sunday.
Yeah, he looks all right now though. He's stayed out there as he jogs away. Robinson gets a quick hand pass back inboard, and now Bradley Stokes paddling the ball in front of himself. Braden Rioli comes in strongly, but catches him high, and a bit of remonstration down there as there's a wrestle on off the ball. Not something that we really need at this stage of the game, and Stokes is being told to go back and take his kick as players close to the fence down there, and I think Burnell's just trying to get Robinson out of it, and the players split now, and there's a 50-metre penalty being paid here for just some silly stuff from Tiwi, and that's about the 5th or 6th 50-metre penalty today, and that'll be frustrating for Brenton Toy, no doubt, as Bradley Stokes, the reliable Darwin defender, comes down and gets a rare set shot opportunity from basically the top of the goal square here. So just off a couple of steps, his kick straight through, no problem whatsoever. He celebrates as he should. Doesn't often get those opportunities, and unfortunately for Tiwi, the game's just blown out a little bit in this last quarter, as Darwin have kicked the only 4 goals of the quarter, George.
Yeah, it certainly has, and just Darwin Buffaloes and more or less keeping their heads about the situation and the game itself, and just capitalising on when they're called upon, and now racing out to a 50-point advantage with only a couple of minutes or so, you'd think, in this contest into time on.
Yep, couple of minutes into time on here, and just the 4 goals scored, so be 2 or 3 minutes to go, you would think, as we wait for the restart. And Atkinson again doing the ruck work against D'Souza, who's battled pretty hard all day for Tiwi in the ruck, and gets his hand to it, trying to get it back there to Heenan, but missed him, and it's Robinson who wins the clearance with a high one, and good mark taken, good contested mark taken this time by Jock at the point of the centre square down towards half forward. He gets back and he's got a player in some space out wide, and he finds Jared Stokes out there inside forward 50, and Jared Stokes, the captain, goes back again, taking plenty of time here. In no hurry to move the ball on. It's obviously a 2:30 game. It's a pretty hot time of day here, so late in the final quarter, players pretty weary, and Stokes comes in, kicks for goal. It's a bit of a floater as it heads towards the goal line, and off hands goes through for a behind once again. And Tiwi bring it in straight up the centre of the ground, where Cantilla takes the mark. He goes short looking for Puruntatameri, but just let it come to him, and it got knocked away. Eldridge sweeps in and kicks the ball back inside forward 50, thumped away defensively, and Tiwi work it away to the outer side of the ground, where Dunn is under some pressure but manages to get a kick to the ball, but only as far here as Jared Stokes again, I think it was, and he's missed to the near side this time. So Darwin wasting some opportunities late in this last quarter from the kick in. The kick's untidy, and Eldridge just cleans that one up, kicks outside to Holt Fitz. Holt Fitz kicks the ball back inboard and finds Mitch Robinson just inside the forward 50, and he says, I'll take this one, and goes back, taking plenty of time once again, as he's entitled to over his set shot, and he'll be kicking from outside 50 late in the final quarter of this round 12 TIO NTFL Men's Premier League match. So Robinson just swings out, kicks long to the goal line. I think it's just got over the hands of the players on the goal line. It's 3-4, a goal to Robinson, and Darwin have finished this game all running with 5 goals to none in this final quarter, George.
Yeah, it's a brilliant way to cap off what's been overall a very pleasing performance from Cameron Stokes' side, and much to the disappointment perhaps for Brenton Toy. They certainly were in this game early on, and you'd thought they'd have some resurgence with certainly a on-target Stanley Tipalura, but not enough for the Bombers. They're going to lick their wounds and go on from here. The Darwin Buffaloes will be going into that Christmas break very much entrenched in the top 4 and with a strong bid for a final spot.
So yeah, we're just about to restart, but the Tiwi players weren't set up properly, as John Dominic McLennan just a bit lost. He finds his way to the wing, and now we restart the game. Robinson gets his hand to the ball and hacks the kick out of the centre. Ball spills forward. Stanley Tipalura has worked his way into the midfield as he tries to clear it out. Robinson kicks off the ground, but umpire says there was a player had his hands over the ball, and the siren sounds in the meantime to end the game. And some promising signs from Tiwi during the game, George, but in the end a convincing win to Darwin.
Yeah, coming out very comfortably on top, the Darwin Buffaloes racing away with this win. A comprehensive one, 16-14, 110, defeating the Tiwi Bombers 7-10-52. And the goal scorers this afternoon for Tiwi, there was singles to Braden Rioli, Michael Dunn, 4 for Stanley Tipalura, and then a single for Dion Mankara, whereas the Darwin Buffaloes, a single to Nathaniel Cooper, as well as Joseph Collinson, 3 to Liam Holtz-Fitz, captain Jared Stokes hitting the scoreboard as well, Bradley Stokes with a single, double for vice-captain Thomas Clark, 3 for Liam Whelan, and then singles to Ryan Pendlebury, Thomas Jock, Mitch Robinson, and Jaden Kickett, who were some of the best that you'd thought for either side this afternoon.
Yeah, well, for Darwin, I thought that Jared Stokes did what he had to do. Bradley Stokes was strong down back. Thomas Clark, as usual. John Brodos was the standout for me. I thought he was terrific in close. Mitch Robinson had plenty of the ball, of course, and so did Ryan Pendlebury, and Thomas Jock just seemed to find space all over the ground. And for Tiwi, obviously Tipalura kicked those 4 goals. Burnell was around the contest all the time, got plenty of possession, and I thought that Jonathan Lanyon was a hard runner for Tiwi all day and got lots of the ball, and the big fella D'Souza in the ruck battled hard all day as well.
Tried all he could. Well, it's been a pleasure to host you this afternoon here at TIO Stadium, but Darwin Buffaloes getting the win. My name is George Scoofezis, joined here alongside Stuart Davis, but don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for more Men's Premier League action today, with Waratah taking on Districts, Nightcliff taking on Palmerston, St Mary's taking on Pine, all broadcasted live to the NT News.